Welcome, everyone. I am Dr. Dream, and welcome to the It's All Good show. I'm really quite excited. You know, I'm always excited because I get to have whoever I want as a guest, and if I don't resonate with them, they never make it to the show. But today's guest in particular, I've been following her. I don't want to say I've been lurking or stalking. It's just we have mutual friends, and you know how social media is, kind of connects you. And so I've been following her for about the last year. And to say that I was impressed would be an understatement. Okay, because I see her in all these different scenarios and just everything, the way social media is. And I'm like, wow, this is a very special person. We have some mutual friends that are some of the most favorite people I have in my life. So I'm like, wow, if she's friends with these people, she's got to be really something. So I reach out to her a few days ago and I say, listen, I'd like to have you on the podcast. She graciously immediately says yes with lots of enthusiasm. And then it's my invitation to sort of dive in to who she is. And if I was impressed before, I don't think there's really a word for how that expanded after I started learning more about her. Her name is Sharyn Wynters. She is an author, a naturopath, and vice president of the California Naturopathic Association with more than 40 years experience in health and wellness. She is internationally recognized for the regenerative program that she advocates, and she leads a lifestyle based on whole food nutrition and toxin-free living environment. She is the author of the highly regarded Guide to Toxins in the Living Environment, known as The Pure Cure, a complete guide to freeing your life from dangerous toxins. And this it's not just a book. I mean, this is literally a 500 plus page guide to how to live and how not to live. I mean, what to be with and what to not be with. And this is nothing new for her. She was, when we had interaction earlier this week, I said, you were really on the early part of this curve with all of this information. And she really threw herself into it. And it all came from, in her early 20s, she developed serious health problems. And traditional doctors shook their heads and told her there was nothing they could do about it. And so she turned to complementary medicine. She met with the famous Dr. William Donald Kelly, and within a month, her whole life changed. And with renewed spirit, she realized she had found a new passion. And she immersed herself in the world of wellness and studied dozens of disciplines. I mean, the list is outrageous: acupuncture, metabolic nutrition, Rolfing, Heller work, Gestalt therapy, primal therapy, mind dynamics, breath work, Pilates, I have to take a breath, hypnosis, vocal biomatrix, sound therapy, emotional release, cranial sacral, reflexology, myotherapy, I don't even know, like orthnobio, to me, or I don't even know what that is, Feldenkrais, and then it just says and others. So this wasn't even the exhaustive list of what she's been involved in. She received a degree from the Santa Monica School of Massage Therapy and a degree from the Clayton School of Natural Healing, becoming a naturopath to help others discover the keys to health and vitality. And her naturopathic practice includes the latest innovations in energy medicine, whole food nutrition, and specializes in leaking gut. Today, she is a popular motivational speaker and a regular columnist for the Beverly Hills Times Magazine. She is the recipient of the Naturopathic Doctor of the Year Award from the Qigong Congress 2011 and the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Amazing Women Organization 2010. She is fully committed to the empowerment of others and is dedicated to being a healing influence. Her life is lived in each moment from her heart. She is an advocate for regenerative food, non-toxic living, and for saving Mother Earth. Sharyn Wynters, my gosh, welcome to the It's All Good show.
Is there anything else to say? We're done.
We just took all of our time. I don't normally read people's bios. I normally ask them to tell me a little bit, but you are so accomplished. Now there's just, we'll get this out of the way now, because obviously it's a part of where you came from, but it's certainly not who you are today. You were at one point a model and an actress. Most notably, you were Miss Pennsylvania. And and then you were Catgirl on Batman, and people still talk about you being Catgirl on Batman. Later in life, you became a jazz singer, I guess. I was listening on your site and just loved what I heard. And I just want to read the quote. This is from Joel Dorn. He is a Grammy Award-winning record producer, and his quote about your singing is, "Sure, you hear a voice, but what you really hear is a heart." And I sat here and with the headphones on, even because I was just getting ready, and I'm like, oh, let me just listen to this. So impressive. It's just, your story is amazing. And I got to believe that there was a trap back in your early 20s and your late teens, with the glitz and the glamour of, the being a model and New York City and then, Hollywood and Catgirl. And there's a list of shows that you were on, many of which I remembered the shows themselves. And I kind of, I don't know, was there a trap that you broke from that? I mean, because it seems like all that was fabulous. It must have been really exciting for a young girl and everything. And yet, did you know that you were destined for something much bigger than being, seemed like you were on the road to being a starlet? And you're absolutely, to this day, you're absolutely gorgeous, and you carry this fabulous energy. And so just before we get into the really good stuff, which is everything that's current, I just want to know a little bit about what it was like for you back then. And did you see it as a possible trap, or you just knew you were destined to be bigger for humanity than that?
Well, I never thought of it as a trap. I started, I grew up in Philadelphia, and I guess when I was 11 years old, I wanted to model, and my mom, much to her disliking, I went to June McAdams modeling school, and I've got pictures when I was 11 walking down the runway, and they showed me how to put makeup on and all that. And then I started entering beauty contests, and I entered the Miss Pennsylvania when I was 16, and I lied about my age, and they told me I won, and I was disqualified because I was too young. And then they called me, I had just graduated high school, and the franchise owner said, we want to enter you in the Miss World contest. And I don't want to go. I was in Atlantic City having a good time, and no, we want to enter you. And I didn't even tell my mother. My brother took me down to Willow Grove, and I won. And that put me on the journey. And it was very interesting. It was not what I thought it would be. And during my tour, I was in Florida. They asked me to judge the Miss Hemisphere contest, and next to me was Ole Cassini. And he was a very famous dress designer. He was designing clothes for Jacqueline Kennedy. And he said, I'm opening up a bathing suit section. I'd love for you to model for it. And I went, yes. So Ole arranged for a apartment for me, and I moved to New York, and I started modeling Ole Cassini bathing suits at the Waldorf Astoria. And I didn't like that very much. I didn't like modeling. And as luck would have it, my roommate rented her space out to an actress who had just done. It's funny, I just relived this whole thing because last weekend was the 60th anniversary of Batman. And so all the people that are still alive were at the Hollywood show. And I got to reunite with Julie Newmar, which was incredible. And my roommate was a girl by the name of Bobby Shaw, and she had just done all the beach blanket bingo films. And she looked at me, she goes, "You should go out to California and become an actress." And I've always trusted my gut. I don't know. I went, yeah. I called my parents up. I said, I got good news and bad news. The good news, I'm leaving New York. The bad news is I'm moving to California. I drove out by myself. I would never do that today. I don't think I'd have the guts, but it was blind faith. And I met somebody who sent me to an agent. The agent said, "You're perfect for this part." He sent me down to William Dozier, who was vice president of the 20th Century Fox, and he said, "You're a cat." I walked in and he said, "You're a cat girl." I said, "Okay." And 2 weeks later, I'm on set. I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to act. I didn't know how to hit a line. I didn't know how to do anything. And then I was awful. I hate to say that, but I was awful. Because Batman is so camp that you
Right.
really had to have some acting chops in order to how to do it. And I had no chops. But uh, the next day, the producer brought me in and he said, "What are we going to do with you?" I said, "Well, who's the best acting teacher in town?" He says, "Oh, he won't take you." I said, "Give me his number." And long story short, he took me and I studied with him for 12 years and learned my craft. And that's when my life started to evolve because I became so absorbed with who I was and who I am and exploring. I mean, that's what, to be a good actor, you really need to dive into and take the layers, peel the onion, so to speak, of who you are so that you can move through a lot of your stuff. And I think that's when my life changed and I was into the art of it.
Now, it was during this time that your health issues came to the surface, or
So I was 20, almost, I was 25, and I call it a health opportunity because I don't like to make names because the subconscious doesn't know a truth from a lie. So when you say I have, it just reinforces that which you don't want. So at this point in time, I just say I had a serious health opportunity that the medical profession really couldn't help me with. And there are no accidents, so that everybody that comes into your life is for a reason. I ran into a woman who had terminal cancer. They opened and closed and gave her 6 months to live and told me about a dentist in Grapevine, Texas, who was curing cancer through nutrition. And I remember my eyes rolling up saying, right, the medical profession doesn't have an answer, but some dentist in Grapevine, Texas is curing cancer. And she looked at me and she says, "What do you have to lose?" And there was that gut feeling again. And November 22nd, I flew to Dallas and took a cab to Grapevine, Texas. And his office was next door to a funeral parlor. And I remember thinking to myself, well, if door number one doesn't work, let's go to
oh
door
my
number
God.
two. And my life changed that day.
Now, this was
Uh,
Dr. Kelly.
that was Dr. Kelly. And he put me in his dentist chair and he looked in my mouth and he says, "Well, the first thing you're going to have to do is get rid of all those silver fillings." I had no idea. I mean, I knew nothing about health. It never dawned on me that what you put into your body, what you surround yourself, everything in, on, and around your body can be the cause of disease. So if you want to clean up your life, you need to clean up what you're putting in, on, and around your body. And I went home that night with a box of vitamins and minerals and enzymes and a book of what I needed to do. And it was so overwhelming to me. I just broke down and cried because, in 1972, I didn't know anybody that had cancer. Now I'm sure everybody knows somebody.
Right.
And I didn't tell a lot of people. I didn't tell most people because I felt like I had leprosy back in those days. And that night, I was scheduled to take I was good friends with a woman by the name of Susan Strasberg, Lee Strasberg's daughter, and a great actress in her own right. And she was into all this metaphysical things way before anybody was. And we were taking a mind dynamics course that night on how to get into your alpha brain level waves. And so that was the start of my journey. And within 3 months, I started getting better. And I went back to Kelly, and through his protocols, I became well. And after I became well, I went, this is all I want to do. I got to get the message out. I got to get the word out. And so I got to be able to study under Dr. Kelly and learn and pick his brain and learn everything I could. And so that's where my life kind of changed. I still acted, uh, but this whole world opened up to me that I didn't know existed.
And so,
And
so at that time, did you start writing the book? When did the book, when did it come to you? Like, I'm going to write a book about
it's
this.
interesting. So for years, I would give health seminars for years, and everybody says, you're like a walking encyclopedia. You need to write a book, but it never resonated with me. And I went through a couple marriages, and my last husband, who was my soulmate, uh, he got a glioblastoma from cell phones, and they gave him 4 months to live. And I took him to Germany because they were doing some different things, and I kept him alive for 2 years. And after he died, it dawned on me that now's the time. So I sat home for 3 years, 4 years, and lived in it and wrote the book. And it's 20 different chapters, 20 different areas of concern, from food to water to EMFs to vaccinations to what to do when you travel, what's in your kitchen, what's under your sink, what are you washing your clothes with, babies, dogs, and all of it. And I broke it down, and then solutions at the end of each chapters of what you can do. Nobody had put it together, so I put it together, kind of. May I?
Yeah. Oh, please.
So you can get it on Amazon.
I've got mine coming next week. I couldn't make it here in time for me to even have it in my hand for this
You couldn't, two
conversation.
days wasn't good enough.
But
I mean, 2 days wasn't fast enough.
they didn't, I'm in a strange rural place in Idaho. They couldn't even do it in 2 days. And so I was like, okay.
Only kidding. But yeah, it's a reference book. You don't have to read it chapter, although I have a client who is reading it chapter. I've never had that. She's reading it chapter by chapter, so it's pretty amazing. But let's say you want to know about water, like what's the best water to drink. So I've broken it down. What is alkaline water? What is, you know, uh, structured water, and what's the best water, and so things like that.
It's got to be amazing. And I'm sure that many people have come back to you after getting the book, having it as a guide, and shared with you how it's changed their lives. I mean, I can't believe, it's over 500 pages. I mean, it has so much information in it. I
And
just,
it needs to be redone because there's so many more toxins today than when I wrote this book. The first book was, I think I wrote it, so he died in 2006. So I worked on it for about 4 years, 6, 7, 8, 9. So maybe 2010 was the first one, called Survive: A Family Guide to Thriving in a Toxic World. And then I met a year later, a publisher who said, this is a very important book. I'd like to publish it. So we changed the title and I changed some things around. And so then came so the first book was Red. That was my vision, a family standing on the edge of a cliff, not to be dramatic, on the edge of the cliff looking out. That's the first one. And now this is so pure, so it's a totally different energy shift.
Do you
But
have plans to update it?
Yeah. If the right circumstance came along, I would like to, because there's so many more things today that weren't around that I didn't know about back then. The peel, glyphosate, COVID, all of it. So it would be a huge body of work.
Right. Well, I was speaking with Dr. Sandra Rose Michael, one of our mutual friends today, and
She's
said,
in my book.
Yes, page 407.
407 on detox, listening to Detox. She's the real deal.
Oh, she absolutely is. And she feels the same way about you and has said directly to me that your book has, that the test of time, it has survived the test of time. And obviously, things change and everything else, but it's as valid today as it was when it was published. And so again, I'm beyond excited to be getting it just for my own life and family and everything like that. Now, I know you have a family. You don't, it's not like on the internet and everything else. I didn't find too much about it, but was that part of your motivation in creating the book? I mean, you already had your experience, which was life-changing for you, obviously, but then it must have been to talk about it.
When I went through this experience, this health opportunity, I was very alone. I was very scared. And I don't want people to have to go through that by themselves. I had no support. And my motivation was, it was time for somebody to get the information out. I mean, there are a lot of books on, hold on food, on electromagnetic smog, in the kitchen, cleaning agent, personal care products, but nobody put it together. Indoor air pollution, what to do about water. Nobody put it together. So I put it together. So people have lost their power. And the sad thing is they don't even know they've lost their power. And one of my intentions for the book was to give people back their power that they don't even know that they've lost. Because once you go down the rabbit hole, you can't go up back out. So once you become awake, it's very hard to go back to sleep again.
Right. Thank goodness. Now tell me, to this day, you are as dedicated as ever to helping people. I got a flyer today about an event you're doing at an EE System Center, talking about all of this. Share with us what your outreach is like today. Do you have an actual practice? People are still coming to you. How does it play out now?
So I've been on this journey, as you know, a long time. I've looked at a lot of different protocols out there, and I have found what to be considered an incredible protocol. I specialize in the gut because everything comes from the gut. I studied Chinese medicine for over 30 years, and in Chinese medicine, they don't have systems, they have elements. They have earth, water, fire, metal, wood, which corresponds to our immune, circulatory, endocrine, digestion, respiratory. So our circulatory is their water, our hormonal and endocrine system is their fire, but our digestive system is their earth, and everything revolves around the earth. The gut brain connection, people are just making that connection. And our earth has been destroyed. Our guts have been destroyed. And the main culprit of it is glyphosate, weed killer, Roundup, Monsanto, and it destroys your gut. And I found a protocol. I call it my 90-day gut cleanse, that I have the only product that I know of in the world that is medically proven, clinically proven to remove 74.5% of the glyphosate in your body, while it lowers your C-reactive protein by 75%. And it's a pre and postbiotic, and it starts to repair the gut. But the whole program, you want to be on it twice a day. It's a shake and some different things for 3 months, because glyphosate, heavy metals, microplastic. Do you realize that we consume a credit card worth of plastic a week? I can't even wrap my head around it. A credit card worth of plastic a week we consume. So put 52 credit cards together and see what it's like in a year. So glyphosate, heavy metals, microplastic, parasites, forever chemicals like PFOAs, PFOS, hormonal disruptors will start to be eliminated from the body while we nourish it, repair it, and cleanse it. Most people go on cleanses, but they're not nourishing their body. It's destructive. So it's an incredible program. It tastes delicious. It's inexpensive. And so I do a lot of that. And some of the things that I love about it, it's plant-based. It's all grown in regenerative agriculture. So if anybody does not know what that is, there's a great a documentary to watch called Common Ground. It's actually on regenerative agriculture and glyphosate. It's an incredible thing. And it's a plastic-free company. So if you're having supplements and it's in plastic, guess what, folks? The packaging is made out of bamboo, hemp, and tree sap. It's compostable, and it's a soil amender, meaning that when you compost it and put it in the soil, it makes that soil better.
Amazing.
They've now saved over 300,000 pounds of plastic in the environment. So it's interesting because a large part of the protocol that Dr. Kelly put me on was about enzymes. And I became a raw food advocate. I don't know if you saw any of that I owned a raw food vegan restaurant.
Yes.
So I had a raw food vegan restaurant for a couple of years because I'm a big believer in enzymes. So all this is living food. It's living with no pesticides, herbicides. It's pure. So, and it's easy to do. Somebody can just call me and I put it in, and I sent, excuse me, that's my dog. You know, they get it, and then I can walk them through how to take it. So that's what I'm doing. I don't see anybody personally anymore. I don't need to, because I'm getting to the source, not just treating the symptom. And that's what I'm trying to get other practitioners to stop treating the symptom, because they're just treating the symptom. Instead of drugs, they're using isolates, and your body can't digest an isolate. God made orange trees. He didn't make vitamin C trees. And when you isolate a vitamin from its whole food form, it becomes nothing more than an isolated chemical, and your body actually has to work harder to break it down to its molecular structure. And the reason it fits so nicely with Sandra's EE system is everything is about frequency. So sitting in Sandra's EE system, you're getting frequencies. And my protocol, my program is the highest frequency foods that you can put into your body. And when you put in a high frequency food, the lower frequency foods leave you from an organic place. That makes sense?
Absolutely makes so much sense that when we're done with this, I'm going to ask you about for myself to start this program. Now, I want to know, is there a
Dr. Dream, it will change your life.
I'm open to it. I'm
It will
absolutely
change
open to it.
your life.
Now, here's the question. Now, so it's one thing to have this all set up and this 90-day gut cleanse, which obviously is imperative. But is there a education piece that goes along with it?
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
okay,
Yeah, it's a community. I have uh, I have a Monday call with some fellow people that are doing it, and you can get on the call every Monday at 5 o'clock and listen to it, and new people can get on and ask questions. Because from my end, it's not just another thing. I want people to understand the value of what each thing does. That's important to me because unless you learn the value of what it is, you won't get the gestalt.
oh, that's excellent. And it is obvious that whatever all these products are and everything else have gone through your process of understanding their value, your knowledge in all these areas.
There's nobody
Um,
doing what this company's doing. They've got 37 microbiologists on site. They created a dehydrator, which blew me away because most of the protein powder out there is dead because they bake it, they cook it. There's no life in it. So what are you doing? This is like 200 feet tall dehydrators that are spinning at 78 degrees. So the time like the spirulina, the alfalfa, and the wheatgrass come down, it becomes powder. So once you put it in water, it becomes living. Yeah.
Fabulous. So is this is I mean, you talk about all this in your book, like at the event you're going to be doing and at the EE System Center. Which one is it that you're going to be at?
It's in Thousand Oaks, and if anybody, the space is limited, so if anybody is near Thousand Oaks, can I give the number? You
Yeah,
can just call 805-405-2790, and because seating is limited. So that's her name is Tatiana, who owns the Thousand Oaks Center. It's Saturday, January 24th from 4 to 6. And I've done talks in Sandra's EE system rooms before because I'm sitting there getting frequencies and talking about frequencies.
it's perfect. And I just, interestingly enough, just spoke to Tatiana a few days ago. But this is on January 24th from 4 to 6. This will be out tonight, this conversation with you, which is January 16th. So people still have 8 days, but get on it right away because there is limited seating. What's next for you, Sharyn? I mean, you're obviously not slowing down or taking a break from anything. You seem to be at a peak energetic level, which speaks to everything that you've learned and put into practice in your life and all that you're doing. What's next?
There's several things. I left acting for over 40 years and I never had a desire to go back. People would ask me for years, do you want to go back? And just the thought of getting an agent and a manager and pictures, I didn't want to do that. And then about 4-5 years ago, maybe a little more, for 6 years ago, it was before COVID actually. Um, I was getting ready for an event, and God came to me and said, "Get back into acting." And I went, I pointed to the TV. I go, "I want to get back into acting," and I couldn't believe it. And I go to this event. This is the truth. And I sit next to a woman, and she says to "What do you do?" And I told her about my naturopathy, and she said, "Were you ever an actress?" I said, "Yeah." As a matter of fact, I was. She says, "What have you done?" So I shared with her, a little bit of my TV and film. And she says, "Have you ever thought about getting back into acting?" And I said, "Yeah, about 20 minutes ago." And she goes, "Well, my name is so and so, and I own the so and so agency, and I'd like to, have you come down and meet the other agents." So I went down and I signed a deal, and then I called my friend Bobby, who's the one who got me out here. She is a acting teacher to the stars. That's what she became. And I called her up and I said, "Hey, Bobby, you're not gonna believe this. I just signed with an agent, and I haven't picked up a script in over 40 years." She goes, "Well, I do my actor showcase on Thursday where I invite writers and producers and directors, but it'll take you some time to get back into it. Come in on a Monday, and I'll give you something to work on, and we'll get you up to snuff." So I go in on a Monday. She gives me a scene, and I put it up, and she looks at me and she says, "I haven't. I've been doing the scene for 30 years. No one's ever done it as well as you. You're going to put it up this Thursday." So I put it up Thursday and I start to sit down, and the guy grabs me and he says, "I'd like to talk to you outside." And I said, "Yeah." So I go outside and he says, "You're starring in my film." A week later, I was on set. I mean, I mean, my acting career has been incredible. So I did that film, and now I'm going to be doing. I just posted it. What I gotta say, and I love these roles. It's called LA Mob Story. I play a mob boss, which I love that kind of stuff, and I love doing it. I can it's for fun, but my passion is healing. My passion is helping people. I just you know put somebody on the program today, um, who and this is how it rolls. She had Crohn's disease, been in pain for years. She went on my program, changed her life, out of pain. She shared it on Instagram. Somebody contacted her, and so I got on the phone with them. It was like 20 minutes before I talked to you, and put them on the program. And that's how it rolls, from one heart to another heart, just sharing what it's about.
Well, Sharyn, it's obvious that you are all heart. And we are also fortunate that you didn't get sucked up into the Hollywood machine and everything, because it would have taken you away from what you really have for humanity, which is what we've just been having this entire conversation about. And I'm grateful. And I'm pretty sure that after I do your 90-day gut cleanse, I will be incredibly grateful. And so maybe we'll have a follow-up
I love that. And
conversation.
I want you to take a before picture.
Okay.
A before picture. It's interesting. I always had a good sense about myself. Um, I was raised with some really good family values, and I'm grateful for that. I came from a really good family, and I learned, they were, yeah. So that I guess that's where and maybe because I got in it so young, I mean, I learned a lot from Ole Cassini. I learned how to dress, and I was friendly with I became good friends with his brother, Iggy. And there used to be a club in New York called Le Club. And I met everybody, Kings and Things and Sinatra and Liza Minnelli. I mean, I met everybody at such a young age, uh, that it it didn't impress me. And, I wasn't impressed. They were just people.
Right.
So
Well, on some level, like I suggested at the beginning of this conversation, you must have known that you were destined to be something more than any of that. And again, I'm sure that there are a multitude of people that are incredibly grateful that you went the path that you went. And yeah, before we end the conversation, is there any final thoughts or anything we didn't touch on that you want to share?
um, if anybody wants to get in touch with me, I'd be more than happy to help them on this journey. And they can just send me an email to livinghealth24@gmail.com. Livinghealth24, because I was born May 24th. So livinghealth24@gmail.com. And I'd be more
Excellent.
than happy to just guide them and help them on their healing journey. We all deserve vibrant health.
I'm gonna get with you on that, and I will make sure that that email address is in the description for the people that listen to it on their favorite streaming platform or watch us on YouTube. Sharyn, I want to thank you very much. I'll be out in Ventura in February, and so I'm hoping that maybe we'll have the opportunity to meet in person. But
Promise?
hmm?
Promise?
Yeah, absolutely, promise.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you meet my wife, Stephanie, it'll be nice.
Oh, I'd love to.
Yeah. And I just want to thank you for being a guest on the It's All Good show. I want to thank you for everything that you do for all of us. I'm super excited to get the book next week. And I imagine shortly after that, I'll be receiving my 90-day gut cleanse and looking forward to it. So thank you so very much. And I'll see you in February. Many
See you in
blessings to
February.
you, dear.
Namaste.